But other drivers, quite a lot of drivers, as far as I'm aware, pee in the car. But I just can't.
But you don't need to because you're not hitting that drink.
No, I mean, I've drunk a lot before, so literally just before we get in the car, I go as many times as possible, right at the last minute. But I just can't bring myself to pee myself. I just.
Be honest. Have you ever?
I have once. It was Singapore. And,
historic moment.
Oh God, it was like 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And basically the safety car came out and I was behind the safety car. I was like, I'm dying. And honestly, when your bladder's full with the G-force that you're pulling, it's the most
I've been in traffic on the way to the airport. Like, I know how that feels, right?
Yeah, it's really, really uncomfortable. And if you pull in the G-force, you just can't focus on your job. So I remember trying to go and I really had to force it. Like, it's really hard. But luckily I haven't had to do it like only once.
The good person, a person that is obviously close to you, that only wants good from you, for you, and that tells you supportive words. And I knew that this was a huge help that then I lost when I lost my father. Obviously, there was still my mum, but my mum doesn't have the technical knowledge that my father had on racing. But it's super important to have close people that then also along your career, whatever level you are at, can tell you the right things at the right moment for you. And yeah, this was super important to me.
Yeah, he sounds like an amazing man. He sounds like such a wonderful mentor to have in life. And is there any words of advice that he said to you or something he shared with you that you feel you always kind of carry with you, whether it's on race day or in life? Is there something that he left you that you feel you always turn towards?
To always stay humble and grateful. I think these are the two words that he always.
You've seen in past champions is that it's not just about one bit of talent or speed or whatever. It's that they manage everything in the paddock so well, you know. And certainly in terms of, like, we've watched Max mature into this guy that just seems untouchable. So yeah, it's very special.
I remember when I worked in Formula One, and I said to David Coulthard once, I said, look, you raced alongside Michael Schumacher, and at times you were quicker than him, at times he was quicker than you, but he has 7 driver world titles and you have none. What was the difference? And he said to me, Jake, it was spare capacity. I was good to a point. But then beyond a certain moment, in the rain, wheel to wheel, an hour into a Grand Prix, he had the spare capacity to do a little bit more. And I'm really interested in this phenomenon. I wonder, is there something or a moment you've seen from Max where you're like, that is spare capacity in action?
To be honest, all the way through like 2023 and even the beginning of 24, like Max would be there, he'd be leading a race, he'd be setting fastest laps.
You don't have to worry about getting gold leaf stuck in your braces. So without much ado, let's get started. Rashid Belhassa, Money Kicks. Rashid Belhassa, famously known as Money Kicks, is one of the most well-known young millionaires in Dubai. In fact, to Rashid, if you ever mention the word "we're on budget," he'd assume you're speaking of some champagne, because to him that's a foreign concept. How do you get to tell Dubai's richest kid we're on budget when he could buy the whole building plus the merchandise? Born into a life of luxury, Rashid is the son of Saif Ahmed Belhassa, a construction magnate who founded Saif Belhassa Holding in 2001. The company has grown exponentially, now encompassing over 50 companies with more than 10,000 employees. This immense wealth has provided Rashid with a lifestyle that most can only dream of. Rashid's journey into the world of social media began at the tender age of 11. In 2013, he started vlogging on Instagram, showcasing snippets of his wealthy life. Not long after, he launched his YouTube channel, Money Kicks, which quickly gained traction. Today, Rashid boasts 2 million followers on Instagram and over
delightful. Their success rate is incredible. Their coverage for the United States is incredible. And if you go to offtherecord.com/TST and make an account, or download the app, the Off the Record app, and use code TST10 on the Off the Record app, 10% off all legal services at least through the end of 2024. I don't see why this code wouldn't get renewed. We signed up with them for 3 years, but I'm sure the code will work past 2024 once we get there. But at least for now, this code TST10 on the Off the Record app or offtherecord.com/TST is good for 10% off all legal services you book with Off the Record. Make the account now, save it in your phone. That way you know if you get pulled over, you know Off the Record's got your back. You don't have to panic. All right, folks, today we have a special treat. Professor Gordon Murray is calling us from his home in
big change of direction at that speed, so therefore the G goes up. And if you take one sequence of those 4 corners, just one lap is about 140 kilos through his neck at that speed. And he could do 120, 130 laps in a race weekend.
And if you don't have that just neck strength, your head is getting ping-ponged
Absolutely.
around. You can't keep your eyes north
Huge.
or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And so you're getting whipped around by the machine instead of you having that sense of strength and control, both of body to have control of mind. So if your body's getting whipped around, I don't really care how skilled you are from a psychological perspective. If you can't find a level because your body is so off axis, it's very, very hard to do anything well.
Impossible.
Massive W for him. Not, okay, well, he gets beaten by Max Verstappen 17 of the races in the season. He does go there.
Yep, I've gone for the same, no surprise. It just feels like Red Bull are making this path for him, you know, his return, and then for them to stick with him. You know, Lawson was doing really well. They kept Daniel Ricciardo on board. If Daniel Ricciardo had done the full half a season and maybe had the opportunity to do some more performances like he did in Mexico, they might have even done this sooner. Like I mentioned, I don't think Perez is going to have like an absolute stinker like he did. I obviously think it would be enough that they'll make the choice, but it just seems like Red Bull, particularly like Helmut Marko and Christian Horner, obviously love him.
Okay, let's move to now.
Still not the best in the world at what you do. There's always another level.
But that's where you want to be.
Without doubt. That's why I joined here. That's why I joined here, because we have the opportunity to... You could do this and join an organization where you're just moving a few little dials around, this few little, just fine tuning. Or you can get here with the right investment, which is what we have, dig deep, foundations down, and start rebuilding it such that you leave your fingerprint on the sport for many, many years to come. And that opportunity comes once in a lifetime. And it's an opportunity to do something that I believe I know how to do this. Let's go and prove that to the world fundamentally and keep challenging yourself every day. But back to the original point, I think you were talking about high performance. The humility is what keeps you back and making sure you know that you have to keep pushing yourself until it hurts.
His patent to most major American automakers, collecting a fee on each car they produced, until Ford got the patent overturned. In this era of exploration and experimentation, men in every country were claiming they had made the fastest or the most reliable car. Where there are egos, there will be competition, and it wasn't long until motor racing started to grow. The earliest recorded motor race occurred in the northwest of England at 4:30 a.m. on August 30th, 1867, between Ashton-under-Lyne and Old Trafford, Manchester, a distance of 8 miles. It was won by the car of Isaac Watt Bolton, beating a vehicle believed to be owned by a Mr. Schmidt. The details of who was involved are a little hazy, as the race broke the red flag laws mentioned earlier. On July 16, 1878, the first US motor race with a prize purse was run over a 200-mile course from Green Bay to Appleton, Oshkosh, Warpen, Watertown.